Ooh, Bad Larry.
Welcome back, Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry. Today we're checking out X Factor number 19. And this issue is written by Louise Simonson and drawn by Walter Simonson. This issue starts with the continuation from last episode where Cyclops and Jean Grey were having an all-out battle, and this is the result: destruction. Jean Grey tells Scott that they're mutants, but do they have to fight like mutants, power against power? And Scott says, yeah, but it's not as fun. However, it is a lot more messy. And if you remember in last episode, it's thanks to Leech that Scott didn't blow Jean Grey's head off. But here we see Leech has bad timing. He's walking in during the cleanup efforts and shuts off Jean Grey's telekinesis and almost crashes all of the debris right on top of her head. But his purpose to go talk to Jean Grey and Cyclops was to tell them that Cameron Hodge has run away after he was exposed as the snake in the grass and the enemy within. Leech feels bad for almost crashing all the debris on Jean Grey's head, but she's like, oh no, it's okay. You did actually help Scott from blasting my face off, so there's that, and we're a family. That's what X Factor's all about. Rusty gives Leech the old dad toss in the sky, says they're going to start working on helping him to control his powers. And then Jean Grey and Cyclops tell everybody they need to leave. They need some mommy-daddy time alone. Cyclops mans up a little bit and tells Jean Grey that he's sorry for almost blasting her face off and being a massive dick all the time to her. Jean Grey says to Cyclops that start shaking him. Hey, get it together, man. We need you around here. You're the leader. It's all Cameron Hodge's fault. He's the one who's driving you crazy. Cyclops tells Jean Grey that regardless of Cameron Hodge, that he's too dangerous right now. The whole X Factor scheme was a sham, and that he thinks that X Factor should be disbanded totally. Meanwhile, on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, Iceman, Beast, and Caliban are trying to hunt down Boom Boom. Before the battle between Cyclops and Jean Grey on the roof, Cameron Hodge had sent the trio out to find Boom Boom, and they're realizing it's a wild goose chase. Caliban, who has the mutant ability to hunt down and track down any mutant alive, has no idea where she went. They all know that there's something wrong. Where did Boom Boom go? Well, folks, I'm about to answer that question right now with two tie-ins from Fallen Angels, number 3 and number 4. And let me know in the comments below, this is issue number 19 of X Factor. How many tie-ins have we had so far in this series? My estimation would be 6 or 7. The cover of Fallen Angels number 3 ties directly into the X Factor number 17 when Boom Boom was being chased by Beast and Iceman after she blew up part of the Beast lab and then ran into a closet and disappeared. On the upper right panel we see Jamie Madrox, aka the Multiple Man, talking to Ariel. He asks Ariel if she's a mutant, and she says, no, not me. The truth is that Ariel is called a Coconut Grove alien, so she's an alien, but she's also a mutant of that Coconut Grove alien race. Ariel has 2 major power sets. Teleportation, she's able to warp space-time around 2 closed doors, bending the space to briefly connect the 2 when opening them. She can walk through a door at her starting point and walk through a different door even if they are at interplanetary distances. Her second power, her mutated power, is superhuman persuasion. She has the ability to psionically and telepathically influence and charm others with her speech, allowing her to make them doing, thinking, believing, forgetting, or remembering within moments what she wants them to do. And this ability doesn't come from mind control, but based on her acting skills, the way she's walking around, and based on the sound of her voice and her choice of words. Which is why she's drawn so ostentatiously and why her movements seem so fluid and dancer-like. And these 2 pages are a reconstruction from X Factor number 17, where Boom Boom comes in and wants Beast and Iceman's help, but they pay her no attention. She drops a little 3, 2, 1, boom, 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 into some vial, destroying part of Beast's lab, and they chase her. She's having such a good time. And then we see Ariel, obviously with her ability to influence Boom Boom's action, tells her to come on into this closet, which teleports her to not only a different place, but a different time indeed. Let's find out exactly where they went. And here we see in Fallen Angels number 4 that Ariel has transported not just Boom Boom, but the rest of the Fallen Angels clan that they kind of ran with before Boom Boom joined up with X Factor, that they went to the land before time, dinosaur time. It's like a million years before the present, which is why Caliban can't track down Boom Boom, because not only is she not in the area, she's not even in the same time dimension. Back to the present and back to our heroes in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, Iceman is just covered up an X Factor ad. Down below, a group of human civilians are arguing. Some are pro-mutant, some are anti-mutant, some are calling to have X Factor called to get rid of these mutants that are destroying the city, and Iceman yells at them and says, they're the real X Factor. Someone has called the cops on Iceman, Beast, and Caliban, and the cops have deployed a helicopter to try to bring them in. Beast tells Iceman that he needs to turn off his ice powers because the ice slide is leading the cops to directly where they are. Iceman tells the Beast that he can't turn off his ice powers, that if he turns it off, he'll freeze into a lump. The only hope that he has is to just keep outrunning the cops and to have Beast and Caliban leave him. The Beast and Caliban tell Iceman the old Three Musketeers slogan, one for all and all for one. We're sticking together. We're a team. Apocalypse is in his totally invisible ship hovering around Manhattan. He's witnessing this whole scene happen, and he thinks it's so funny and ironic that the mutant hunters are now the hunted mutants. One of Apocalypse's horsemen, War, the dude with the purple bowl cut, is about to have himself a hamburger. And Apocalypse's other horseman named Famine, the skinny chick in the green shirt, tells War that he keeps eating hamburgers, he's going to turn fat. He's not going to be able to even fit into his armor. And of course, War doesn't like that too much. This is great foreshadowing to show that Apocalypse, who has great power and has imbued these three horsemen with great power, well, they don't get along at all, and probably won't operate as a team well either. War is going in on Famine, saying she's so skinny that when she hula hoops, she gotta use a Cheerio to hula hoop. That she's so skinny when she gotta take a shower, she gotta run around the shower just to get wet. And she's so ugly that even the Morlocks, who are the ugliest of all the people, think she's ugly. Well, Pestilence, the third of Apocalypse's horsemen, comes in, touches them both. Now both War and Famine are on the ground dying. Apocalypse says, you better start working as a team, and brings him back to health. But still, Famine and War are going at each other's throats. So Apocalypse says, if you both think you're so powerful, then why don't you go and attack the X Factor, Iceman, Beast, and Caliban, and see if you can prevail. As the three horsemen of Apocalypse leave to go attack X Factor, Apocalypse turns to Warren Worthington III, Angel, who's in a machine being transformed by Apocalypse, and says, they follow me because I offer them salvation, just as you will follow me. As Iceman, Beast, and Caliban are running from the police's helicopter, which are threatening to fire upon them, out of nowhere, three horsemen of the apocalypse appear, Famine, War, and Pestilence, and they say, prepare for battle. Iceman says to Beast, I thought there were 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Beast says to Iceman, well, these 3 look bad enough. I hope there's not 4. Meanwhile, back at X Factor, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, is about to leave the team. But Jean Grey says, before you leave, let's have one more training session with Leech. Let's see if we can help him control his powers. Well, it's Leech's first training session, and obviously it doesn't work. Leech can't really control his powers. And Cyclops says, don't worry, it's not that bad. You know, I've been training with Professor X my whole life, and look, I still can't control my powers. I still have to wear these ruby quartz lenses, because I don't have full control of my powers. If I take these glasses off, I'll blast a hole through anything I look at. So just keep practicing. Rusty and Skids rush in, tell Cyclops and Jean Grey that there's a big fight on TV. The news is all showing it. Beast, Iceman, and Caliban are in trouble. Jean's like, Cyclops, let's go. And Cyclops is like, oh no, Jean, I'm too dangerous. I'm one of the dangerous mutants Cameron Hodge is talking about. And Jean Grey's like, pish posh. Cameron Hodge is full of shit. You can't let him destroy Xavier's dream and our friendship and let our friends die. Get your head together, man. And Cyclops is like, Jean, you're right. Let's go save our friends. We're going to be all together again. While overhead in Apocalypse's invisible floating fortress, Warren Worthington III is asking Apocalypse, what are you doing to my mind, man? And Apocalypse is saying, don't worry, just think about the wings, the flying. And Warren says, I'll have my wings back. And he's like, yes, you'll use them to my destruction for my purposes as a tool to test the mutant's worthiness. As the horseman Death, my fourth horseman of the apocalypse. Ha 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 ha. War is charging out orders to Famine and Pestilence, saying, circle around, go here, attack there. And Famine and Pestilence are saying, who left you in charge? We're seeing that the three horsemen are not working as a team at all. Prior to being one of Apocalypse's horsemen, War was the only one who was a real soldier who saw real battle. Famine was just an anorexic little teenage girl, and Pestilence was a crazy old lady living in the sewers. Why wouldn't they take his orders? He thinks. But never mind, he still has a mission to accomplish. He has to kill these mutants. Iceman, Beast, and Caliban realize these enemies are really powerful, and to protect the humans below, they need to escape to a less populated area. Beast, Iceman, and Caliban are heading to Central Park. But Iceman's ice slide is getting too thick. Beast tells Iceman to focus. They're almost there. He knows he can't control his powers very well. He just needs to make it to Central Park. The crazy old lady, Morlock, who is now Pestilence, wants to touch Beast's cheek and cause him to die. But Beast gives her the old dodge maneuver. War slaps a clap together, which destroys Iceman's ice slide. Our hero's only hope is to grab the tree's branches to break their fall. Famine, who is the anorexic little mutant child, uses her powers to disintegrate the trees. Our heroes have taken a mighty fall, and the three horsemen say, why work together? Against these three, what's the point? Well, Marvel Girl and Cyclops enter the chat, and Cyclops says, what's up, with a powerful optic blast. War's armor has been designed to deflect Cyclops' powerful optic blast, which has deflected off of War and destroyed many of the windows in the surrounding buildings. Jean Grey tries to telekinetically disable the three horsemen's horses, but they seem to have a protective force field around them. Iceman is able to nail one of the horsemen with one of his snowball ice specials. Trish Tilby of the Fake News Network is in one of the helicopters reporting live about the two mutant factions battling each other. Apocalypse's Horseman War has PTSD from his time in Nam, and he decides to destroy the news helicopter with Trish Tilby inside. Luckily, Marvel Girl Jean Grey is able to use her telekinesis to bring the helicopter safely to the ground. Cyclops tries to blast Pestilence, but her armor makes his optic blast ricochet, and the ricochet almost takes out Marvel Girl. But she's alright. Close call. It seems at this point Cyclops' optic blast can't be used at all. How can they penetrate these horsemen's armor? Iceman is nearly exhausted. Pestilence swoops down. She's going to try and touch Iceman, but Beast gets in the way. But Pestilence touches him, which causes him to fall to the ground, severely ill. Cyclops says that if Pestilence can't touch them, then they're safe. He asks Iceman to use some of his last strength to make them an ice force field. Caliban tells Cyclops and the rest of the team they need to get out of there because Beast is dying. Jean Grey says maybe Cyclops' optic blast may not be able to get through the armor, but what about this giant-ass tree? Marvel Girl uses her telekinesis to use this tree like a giant fly swatter, and Marvel Girl knocks Pestilence off her golden mechanical steed. Some dumbass white man human thinks that he's going to get close to this battle. Well, Pestilence touches him. He's dying. Marvel Girl says to Cyclops, what are we going to do? They seem overpowered. And Cyclops says, we're going to keep fighting until we die. And he realizes that Iceman is not out of commission, that he's over-commissioned. And he tells Iceman, freeze everything, give it all you got. Iceman unloads his power, and we can see the three horsemen are getting frozen inside Iceman's ice block. Iceman is saving the day. He's saving his fellow X-Factor teammates as well as all the humans in Central Park from their ultimate demise from the hands of Apocalypse's horsemen. Apocalypse has been watching this battle from his invisible spaceship like a football coach watching a scrimmage on the sidelines of a football game. Apocalypse realizes how strong the mutants of X Factor are and how trash his horsemen are at working together. So Apocalypse saves his 3 horsemen by teleporting them out of the ice prison that they're in and vows to unleash the 4th horseman on X Factor the next time they incur a battle. Our X Factor heroes are dumbfounded with the disappearance of the 3 horsemen enemies. All of the humans that have gathered around and watched the battle have said, "Where's X Factor? We called them numerous times, but they never showed up." And Cyclops says, "That's right. It was Iceman who saved the day." And let's see how Cameron Hodge is going to try to spin this in his little PR stunt, wherever he may be. But for now, we've got to bounce, because we've got to save Beast from imminent death. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and tune back in tomorrow for X Factor number 20, Children's Crusade.